Uh-oh. At least they... Uh-oh, seems like we have an issue. Let me see. People can see me. Uh-oh, seems like we have an issue. Okay, I'm live, right? Just nod your head if you can see me on Facebook. All right, all right. It seems like we're on Facebook, but it's telling me that something was deleted. I'm not sure. Oh, I'm on YouTube, not Facebook. Okay. All right, let me end this broadcast, then come again. Oh, but then. Okay. Go live. Okay, let's see. Okay, well. Uh, oh. So we're not but is this not Facebook? Oh, that's YouTube. Okay. We're on YouTube, but not Facebook. Oh, somebody said I'm on Facebook. Okay, let me check now. All right, you guys help me out now. Let me know if you can see me on Facebook. Yeah, hello. Can you see me on Facebook? Uh, all right, let's see now. Let's wait. Let's see. Can anybody see me on Facebook? Let me see comments. Okay, I'm good on. Okay, I'm on Facebook. Okay, all right, good, good, good. I was thinking we're having some technical difficulty. All right, good. I'm glad. All right, see, this is why I need people. This is why I need you all to come on and support and assist and make sure everything goes good. All right. So now I see that we are both on Facebook, on YouTube, but we are not on the Facebook group, the Vonza Facebook group. So, Dr. Faith, can you share to the Vonza Facebook group? I think we're not on the Vonza Facebook group, but we're on the Vonza page, fan page. All right, so guys, go ahead and share this video. It seemed like some of our channels were cut off. I'm not sure why, but if you can share it, I think that will help a lot to get more people to see this broadcast. Okay, so go ahead and share to every page, every group that you're part of, and let them know that we are live and ready for the final session of the Level Up Challenge, which will be absolutely amazing tonight. Um, hmm. Yeah, I'm getting some error message here, but we'll see. I think I'm live on Facebook, but we'll see. All right, everybody, welcome to the final night of the Level Up Challenge. We are having some technical difficulty, but we'll make it do. That's why I told everybody to register and get the replay so that in case you miss anything, you will not regret it. So some people are going to miss it tonight because we're having technical difficulty right now. We're not able to broadcast to every channel, but we're on Facebook and we're also on YouTube. At least we can make use 2 out of 6 channels that we normally will be on right now. So I don't want to stop this and start all over again and go and throw all the speakers off. So let's go right now into it. I have an amazing, amazing guest tonight. He's also a Vonza night. He's a great man, a great speaker. And he's going to be talking about something that is so, so powerful are so needed. I'm talking about asking better questions. And he's going to be teaching on that tonight. Let me see if I can find a little bit of his bio. So Bruce Hill started New Skills, New You. Wow. With the mission to help entrepreneurs transform their life and business by teaching them sales skills. As you know, a lot of people struggle with sales, right? Yeah, someone says, Dr. Tanikia says, it's been amazing. Good, good, good. I'm so excited that you guys are here tonight. And, please, everybody share it. We're not broadcasting on all the streams right now. We lost some connection and they're asking me to restart it. I don't want to do that. So share this video so we can get as many people as possible to be on. So without further ado, I'm going to bring the speaker for the night so I don't take any more of his time, because I know he has so much he wants to release today. If you can check, all of the other recordings are already gone off social media. If you want to get all 36 sessions, you need to get the replay. The replay is only $47. You get it for lifetime. Okay. All right. So without further ado, let me bring in the speaker. 3, 2, 1, go. Yay. Hey, Bruce, how's it going, man?
Hey, Dr. Oye, thank you. I'm well. If you see me looking over here, I'm trying to catch everyone. Dr. Faith, thank you for showing up. Dr. Tamika, thank you. Tola, thank you. Rondell, thank you. I'm really excited to serve today. It's been great so far. I'm really excited.
Yeah, thank you. It's been awesome, man. I'll be looking forward to your content as well. So the people are ready. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get out of your way, right? Then about 20 or so minutes, I'll be back. I'm going to do some Q&A. Okay. So the floor is yours now.
Thank you. Oh man, listen to all my guests, near and far, young and old, entrepreneurs, all ages and all stages. I know you like to hear yes, and it would be so nice if we could hear yes more often. So that's what we're gonna dive into today. Can I listen? This is an hour talk. We're going to try and get it down to 20 minutes, okay? Can I teach y'all something real quick? If I can teach you something, say yes. Say yes in the chat so I know that we're in this together. We're learning together, okay? Okay, wonderful. Listen. I know that as entrepreneurs, we're talking to clients, we're talking to customers, maybe we're talking to banks, right? And it's really nice when we hear yes. It's got such a nice ring to it sometimes. But I know far too often we may hear the opposite, man, and it hurts. And it's not just the rejection. That gets you right here. But some of us, if it was a promotion, if it was a raise, if it was a transfer, if it was a day off, maybe you were talking to a potential interest, a romantic partner. That no can be a setback in your life. That no can be an interruption to your progress. That no could be an obstacle to your plan. Man, so we want to hear yes more often. And is that just me? If you like to hear yes more often, the whole chat should just say yes. I love it. And so I have this shirt on intentionally, and it says always selling. Okay. So listen, my name is Bruce Hill. New Skills, New You. I help entrepreneurs transform their lives and grow their business by teaching them sales skills. But wait, don't tune me out. I don't want you to turn into a salesperson. There's plenty of those. I want to teach you the confidence and skills you need to grow your business. Now, some of those things I've learned from sales. Listen, I've made over 10,000 phone calls over my sales career, on top of over 10,000 appointments. Okay. I've heard no a lot more times than some people have even asked. I have, but I went through all the trouble so that you can skip a few steps. There's no shortcuts, but if I can get you there a little faster, somebody put faster in the chat. Somebody put a little faster in the chat, because I want you to learn that selling isn't about the money. No, does that surprise anybody? Selling is about asking better questions. So here's what we're going to do. If you got another screen, if you can do another tab, if you got another device, you can go to askingbetterquestions, plural.com. That's askingbetterquestions.com. And what I is a free gift for you, for everyone that's tuning into the sound of my voice. And since the replays will be available, please grab those so you can go back through, you can go over your notes. AskingBetterQuestions.com. I'm gonna leave that up. I've got 46 questions for coaches and consultants, for entrepreneurs, for you, so you can hear yes more often. Okay, so I want you to grab that and you can put it to the side and follow along with me as we go into hearing yes more often without sounding like a salesperson. Does that sound good to somebody? Say yes. Say yes. I want you to hear yes more often. The reason that people are telling you no is twofold. Okay, I told you I'm going to teach you something today. I'm going to teach you something today. If we never speak again, if we never cross paths again, I hope that your life is a little bit better because you learned a new skill with Bruce Hill. Okay. So there's two reasons people are telling you no. You're asking the wrong questions. You're asking the wrong questions. But that's okay because I'm here to help you learn some of the right questions. All right. The second reason people tell you no, you're asking the wrong person. That's something I've learned time and time again, that sometimes it's the wrong person or it's the wrong question or both. I'll tell you a story. I was going door to door and I was selling home security systems. I was selling alarms, right? Trying to keep people safe. So I told the gentleman, I said, hey, my name is Bruce Hill. I want to help protect your home and your family. Would you like to purchase an alarm system? He said, no, I protect my family. I was like, well, sir, our alarm systems are the top of the line. Don't you want one? He said, no, I've got a Ruger in my pocket right now and a shotgun by the bed. I was like, sir, man, that's wonderful, but I'm going to take care of it overnight while you're sleeping. He said, no, Bruce. He's like, I've got a dog for that. I was like, sir. And we did this back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And eventually I got frustrated. I was asking all these questions and he kept saying no. So this is where you all can fast track. You can skip all the wrong questions. I finally got frustrated and I accidentally asked the right question. So you can ask this question on purpose. You can use this in your life, in your business. I said, sir, when would you need a home alarm? I was being sarcastic because I was annoyed. I kept hearing no, and it gets to even me, even after 10,000 tries. And I know some of you get tired of hearing no. I said, well, when would you want a home alarm? I'm going to pause the story there. I want you to think about that question. Maybe you're a personal trainer. Maybe someone says, oh, your price is too high. You can ask them, well, what would your life look like if you don't exercise? Okay. Maybe you're a life coach. Maybe someone's hesitant. Should I sign up with you? Should I not? You say, hey, what would your life look like? How would you feel if it stayed the same? So I asked him that question. I said, well, what scenario in your life would you need an alarm? Do you see how that's a better question to try to convince them on price and features? And I said, well, what do you need? He said, well, Bruce, I travel a lot. I said, how often you travel? He said, man, 2 or 3 weeks out of the month. I was like, who watches your family while you're gone? He said, my dog, I guess, nobody. I said, well, how does that make you feel? He said, well, it keeps me up at night sometimes, Bruce. It keeps me up at night. I said, well, if we could have peace of mind that your family was safe and secure, would you sleep a little bit better? He was like, absolutely. I said, well, you need an alarm. He said, Bruce, come on in. Once I asked better questions, I didn't have to sell him anything. So some of you are hearing no because you're doing too much convincing. We don't convince people. Some of you are hearing no because you're trying to sell something. Some of you are hearing no because you're trying to take. You're just worried about the money. But sales isn't about the money. It's about asking better questions. That's why, listen. If you've got to grab it later, or if you can follow along now, this would be perfect. AskingBetterQuestions.com. I want you all to have in your utility belt and your tools and your tips and tricks, I want you to have better questions. Because in order to get your client from that clarity call to closed, from interested to invoice, right? You've got to ask better questions. So it could be a question like, what's standing in your way? Can you tell me more? What will happen if you don't take this step? What does success look like to you? What are you most proud of? What is it that you want? What have you done already to try and solve the problem? So let's go back to the example when I was trying to sell him the home alarm. I was trying to solve problems that he had already solved. Until I asked better questions, then I could serve him. That's really where the sale happens. Once they believe that you're here to serve them, that means you've asked the right questions. Now they want to say yes. If this is making sense to anybody, please, please, please put in the chat better questions. That's the tip. If our internet connection dies right now, I want you to ask better questions. Okay, excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you, thank you. Ask better questions. So you don't have to be a salesperson. You don't have to be an extrovert. You don't have to be pushy. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be aggressive. If you truly are serving the people you care about, you'll ask better questions. I've got some more questions for you. And they're all in the free gift. So if you missed some, don't feel bad. They're all in the free download for you. You can keep that forever. You can put it in your pocket. You can store it away for your next interview, for your next client clarity call, discovery call. I want to help you transform your life and grow your business. And one simple way, one skill that you can practice today is asking better questions. Listen, I've tried this over and over and over again. There's no smooth set of words I could teach you. There's no closing technique, no overcoming objections. Those are all fancy tricks. But at the end of the day, asking better questions is the number one way you can hear yes more often. I was trying to sell this gentleman a car. Super nice guy, young, about my age. And I showed him the Mustang. And I showed him the Dodge Challenger, the Super B package. And I showed him the Corvette. And it was this crazy purple color. I was like, man, this is the only one like this side of the Mississippi River. Okay. But it just didn't seem to capture his attention. I was too busy always selling, and I wasn't asking enough questions. I'm going to interrupt myself. Does anybody know what the number one sales technique is? Does anybody know what the number one sales skill is that everyone misses? And by everyone, I mean me. Listen, I've made some mistakes that you don't have to. The number one sales skill you could put into practice right now today is listening. But you can't listen if you're talking. You want your potential client to be talking. I use this in interviews for my 9-to-5ers. Got something for you too. It's called interview tips and tricks. I teach you how to ask more questions in an interview so the HR person, so the manager, the hiring manager is doing more talking than you are. And what happens is when you do more listening, you're actually in control of the conversation. When they do more talking, they put you in a position to hear yes. You can't hear yes if you're talking. Am I starting to make sense to somebody? It's all about asking better questions. I ask better questions. I listen to the answer. You'll understand their problem. You'll understand their wants. You'll understand their goals. That's one of my favorite questions. What's important to you? So back to the young man trying to buy a car. I asked him, I said, listen, I show you these amazing cars. Low miles, great prices, all that good stuff. What's important to you? He said, well, Bruce, I'm having twins. He didn't need a sports car. He needed a minivan. How did I know that? I asked better questions. Am I making sense to anyone? You don't have to worry about, oh, Bruce, I'm an introvert. This is the perfect technique for introverts. You all actually are better speakers and better sales professionals for that one reason we said earlier. You're better at listening. Extroverts like me take longer to get there because we're too busy talking. We're too busy doing this and not listening. Once I found out he had twins, I started asking better questions. I said, hey, when are they due? Is it 2 boys, 2 girls, or both? What's your budget? Do you want a minivan? He did not. He got a little small SUV. And he was so happy that I took the time to listen to him. This was his first kids, and now he's got two on the way. So he was a little scared. And I helped by listening to him. He felt at ease. He actually bought a car that day. Once I stopped selling, right, because I'm always selling, and I started listening, I was asking better questions. That's when the transaction happened. So I've got some more questions for you. All right. What's your top goal for this year? What makes your business different from the competitors? Ooh, that one's for you in the mirror. You might not ask your client that. You might not ask your interviewee there that question, but you want to be able to answer that question yourself. Who's involved in the decision making and execution of this project? Hey, so for my project managers, for my consultants, that's a fantastic question. What is the primary reason you're looking for blank? Okay. What's the most pressing challenge you're facing right now? So we could go back to the gentleman. When he's home, he was secure for his family. He didn't need an alarm. But his most pressing challenge was when he was gone. How did we figure that out? We asked better questions. It's so simple, y'all, but I'm going to say it over and over and over again because I want to make sure you get it. I want to make sure you take it away and you live it. That's why it's called New Skills, New You. If you put this into practice, you will transform your life. If you put this into practice, you'll grow your business. So even though I say, hey, Bruce Hill, New Skills, New You, I teach entrepreneurs how to grow their business, transform their lives by teaching them sales skills. It's not about selling. Sell is what happens as an end result when you're listening. You're not listening if you're talking. So for them to do the talking, you have to be doing the listening. And you'll have more to listen to when you ask better questions. So I got a couple more questions. I'm not going to read all 46 to you. That's why I created askingbetterquestions.com. So you can grab them. You can look at them at your own pace. You can grab the ones that work best for you. So is there anything else I should know? That's a nice catch-all question, because if I don't have the exact words that you needed to hear, I'll just say, hey, is there anything else I should know about you, about your business, about your situation? They'll tell you. People love to talk. People love to talk about themselves. We just aren't asking the right questions. So what do you feel is the most important decision that you're facing? What are some factors you will consider? Can you tell me a little bit more about the history of the situation? What do you feel is the primary cause of ... It's all about asking better questions. So let's dive a little deeper here. Before we wrap up, we're going to get some Q&A. How we can use this in your business. I don't want you asking questions really, right? How's the weather? Did you see the game last night? Those are not good questions. There's two kinds of questions. There's open-ended questions and there's closed-ended questions. The open-ended questions creates room for more conversation. They start with who, what, where, when, why, how. So instead of saying, are you hungry? That's a closed-ended question. You can only say yes or no. You ever have those dry text messages with someone? You good? Yeah. You busy? No. You hungry? No. It's boring. It's dry. Those are closed-ended questions. So instead of saying, are you hungry? We could say, hey, what do you want to eat? How hungry are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you want some tacos? I don't know. Maybe it's Tuesday. I want you, this isn't just for business. If you asking better questions, it's going to transform your whole life. So we've got open-ended questions. We got closed-ended questions. Open-ended questions are for discovery. They're for understanding. They're for comprehension. If you're a coach, consultant, or trainer, you probably have a 15-minute call, right? Maybe a clarity call. They call it a discovery call, an introduction call. And you're trying to figure out, is this person a good fit for me and my business? And can I help them? I used to help folks with their student loans. One lady calls me. She said, hey, I need help with my Section 8 housing voucher. All right. I did not help with Section 8 housing vouchers. It was a very short discovery call. So I want to make sure we're getting the right people to say yes. Remember, I told you earlier, right? You're either asking the wrong questions or you're asking the wrong person. She was not the right person for the business at the time, and that's okay. Sometimes we hear no, we take it personally. It's not personal. 19 times out of 20, it's not you. You're just asking the wrong person the wrong questions. Does that make sense? Let's say you're still with me. So put in the chat. Let's make sure that we're all on the same page here. Asking better questions. That's all I want to hear from you all. Asking better questions. I'm gonna put in the chat just to leave by example. See, I can spell, but I can't type. There we go. So we're asking these open-ended questions to discover. We're asking these open-ended questions to understand. Now, once we figure out this is the right person and we can help them, then we ask the close-ended questions. Those are for confirmation. So if you're taking notes, open-ended questions are for discovery. Closing questions are for confirmation. So Bruce, does this sound like we would be a good fit? Yes. Bruce, are you ready to get started? Yes. Bruce, when do you want to begin? Oops, I switched back around to an open-ended question. I want to make sure that you and I are headed in the same direction. We don't want to assume. We want to ask better questions. So for my coaches, for my consultants, for my trainers, the number one thing you can do today to hear yes more often is asking better questions. And what's fun, even if you ask the wrong person better questions, they'll say, you know what, Bruce, I don't need that, but I know someone who does. And that's a lot of fun. You get the referral from someone that's not even a client. That's how you know you're asking better questions. And so what's really fun about this conversation, this is a sales training. But I hope it didn't feel like you were being that terrible salesperson we all hate. I hope that questions become a natural part of your conversation. I hope that they become a common practice when you interact with future clients, with future customers. I want you to get in the habit of listening more than you talk. I teach something called the question path. All right. I wish I had time to dive into this. This is something I'm happy to teach. I do workshops on this. The question path is how we lead a client from A to yes, right? From interested to invoice. And there's 5 steps. The first 4 steps involve you asking questions. Okay. The first 4 steps, that's 80% of the conversation, is the client doing all the talking. All you should be doing is taking notes. Asking questions, take notes because you're listening. The last step, the 5th step, 20% of the conversation is those closing questions, those confirmation. Hey, Bruce, I want to make sure I understand 1, 2, 3. Is that correct? Okay, great. But you want to be at 4, 5, 6. Is that correct? Okay, great. And what's stopping you is 7, 8, 9. Is that correct? Okay, wonderful. So if I can help you get from 1 to 10, from A to Z, we should work together. Is that correct? Yes. Fantastic. When do you want to get started? I love it. It's easy. If you spend more time listening, asking better questions, you're going to hear yes more often. I guarantee it. And if you need some help, my name is Bruce Hill. New skills, new you. You can find me on Instagram. I'm here to help you succeed. I'm here to help you transform your life and grow your business and hear yes more often. Dr. Uyi, thank you so much for the opportunity to serve. We have those Q&A ready.
All right, let's look. We have a Q&A ready. This is amazing, amazing, amazing. All right, let's see who has Q&A, guys. So bear with us. We're having technical difficulty, like I said. And if I let me send a message now to one of the speakers coming up. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So what questions do you have for Bruce today? Asking better questions is very, very important that you ask better questions. So what questions? Somebody said, okay. Somebody said, what's important to you? I'm not sure if they are.
Okay. That's one of my favorite questions because especially for someone who maybe, Rondell, thank you for paying attention and participating. When you have a client and you're not quite sure where they want to go, you want to ask them, hey, what's important to you? And this is so important, no pun intended, because I don't want to sell you a bicycle if you're still learning to walk. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't want to sell you a bicycle if you need a pickup truck. So it's so important that we're asking that question. Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, what's important to you so that we're serving more effectively? How
Mm-hmm.
simple would it be if you went into a restaurant and the waitress told you what you were going to get? How
Yeah.
frustrating would that be? But we do it all the time. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
very good question. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Wow, that's awesome. Anybody have any other question? Because we have our next speaker ready to come on shortly. Any other question? Somebody said, how do you stay confident and keep your drive upbeat and positive?
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. That's another wonderful question. When I invented this technique of asking better questions, it was specifically designed for some clients of mine who were introverts. And they had difficult time in these conversations because they wanted to be reserved and quiet. And that's perfect. That's fine. I want you to be who you are. So I designed these question paths so that they could do less talking and leverage their strength, which was listening. And it works well for extroverts, but introverts love this because it allows them to be more confident in themselves because they can go to askingbetterquestions.com. They can pick the questions that they want that work for them, so they go into each and every conversation so confidently because they're prepared. That's really what confidence comes from. It comes from practice, it comes from being prepared, and that helps you stay optimistic, positive, and upbeat about the outcome in the conversation.
Wow, very good. So let's see. We have time for just one more question. If you have a question, you can ask him right now. And what's that website again? People can find you, just in
It's
case somebody's watching a replay or something.
Absolutely. Asking better questions with a S.com.
Okay, so it's asking
Mm-hmm.
better
Yep.
questions with
Correct.
s.com.
Yep. Simple and easy. That's the whole training right there. That's the technique right there.
Good. All right. It's right there on the screen. Askingbetterquestions.com. That's where you can find Bruce. So Bruce, one more thing before you go. So when it comes to selling, right? Is there any secret hack that you can give to people that are shy or they feel like they don't have, the esteem? They are shy to ask people to buy anything from them. How can you help such a person? What would you say to such a person?
Absolutely, absolutely. The introverts are some of my favorite people to work with because they have so much beauty and character, and it's hidden underneath, and sometimes we miss it. So, for my introverts out there, there's two things I want to help you with this conversation. One, if I want you to really, really care about what you do and who you're serving. If you don't care, if you're just doing it for the money, you're going to have a hard time being successful at it. But if you care about the transformation you bring into people's lives, that's going to help you push through that discomfort that comes from maybe being a little bit more shy. And that's okay, be you. The other thing to help you overcome is having the questions ready. If you like, that is something I do offer. I work one-on-one where we can have a custom set of questions just for you. So
Mhm.
each and every conversation, you already know what to say. You don't have to guess. You don't have to try and memorize anything. It's written down in front of you. You can go down the list. That gives you a piece of sense, a calm, security, and it makes it so much easier. So care about what you do and then have a question set ready. So that's for my introverts, that's going to be a game changer.
Thank you so much, Bruce. So once again, guys, go to askingbetterquestions.com, askingbetterquestions.com, askingbetterquestions.com. Thank you, Bruce, for coming and adding so much value to this summit.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to serve. I can't wait for the next speaker. Cheers.
Thank you so much. Guys, that was amazing, man. Bruce is amazing, man. He's a good man too, and he has so much knowledge and information to help you. So please go to that link again, ask him better questions. And those of you who got the replay, you're going to see everything too in the replay as well. So, guys, I just want to remind you guys before bringing our next speaker, she's already ready. If you want to get the replay, you should get the replay. Is bit.ly/Vonza level up. In fact, I think we're going to have it ready by Saturday, which is tomorrow, before the end of the tomorrow. All the recordings will be chopped up and put in the right place where you can have lifetime access to them. So like you can see, the previous ones are already deleted. So after this one, it's going to be deleted as well. So if you miss it live, is gone except you get a replay. All right, so I'm going to bring the next speaker right now. She's ready. And she has so much information to share that is going to help you in your entrepreneurship life. All right, so 3, 2, 1, go. Hey, Bree, how are you?
I'm good. Hi, how are you today?
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm excited that you're joining us for the summit today, and you have so much to share to the listeners today. So first, let me ask you. So, how you been preparing for the summit?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Have you been preparing for the summit?
I can't hear that well.
Okay, let me ask you
Well, I
another.
think you said, how did I prepare for this summit? Well, to prepare for the summit, I just gathered everything that I knew, all my knowledge that I know, and I'm just going to give it to you folks tonight.
Awesome, amazing, great. So, what are you going to be talking on tonight? What are you speaking on tonight?
Okay, so tonight I'm going to be talking on habits and how they rule us and how we can become successful if we have the right habits in place.
That is amazing. Years ago there was a book. I think the 7 Habits or something. Forgot. There's a couple of books on habits. I think I forgot the title now. Maybe somebody can help me with the title about the habits. And habits are very, very important. Entrepreneurship. If you're an entrepreneur, you don't have the right habit, you are not going to be successful in your business. So I'm going to be out of your way. You're going to have about 20 minutes. I'll be back, and then we can do some Q&A. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, so habits pretty much rule our life. Our day to day depends on what we're going to become or what we are or what we're going to end up achieving. So, as of right now, what you do on your day to day basis will determine how you will be at the end, or how you will be in a month, how you will be in 3 years, how you will be in 5 years. You need to stop and reflect on yourself and say, okay, what am I doing today? What am I doing today that's making me better tomorrow? Or are there steps that I can do that could progress me on to tomorrow, the day after that, the day after that? So I know we all want to be entrepreneurs. We already are entrepreneurs, or we want to be entrepreneurs. And there is a way to get there. We have to change our mindset, of course, to say, okay, I'm on my way to becoming an entrepreneur. Or even those people who are already successful entrepreneurs, they had to go through that process where they had to change their mindset. They had to switch it up. They had to change it over. They had to switch something on in their brain so that they can go from one end to the other. And that's right there with your mindset. But we always hear people saying, okay, mindset, mindset, mindset. How do I change my mindset? That's where habits come in. That's where habits come into play. I know mindset, it's such a big thing, and it will take you from 0 to 100, not even 100, but it'll take you to 1,000 and beyond. But we do have to start there. We have to start with our habit. We have to start what we do every single day. So the quality of our lives really depends on the quality of our habits. So let's say we wanted to, lose some weight, or yeah, let's start with that. Let's say we wanted to lose some weight, but it's a big struggle. Like, let's say, okay, so for the New Year's, people want to say, okay, let's lose some weight. I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to lose 20 pounds, or, I want to get buff in the gym. The first thing people do is they go to the gym, they get a gym membership, they go hardcore, they go for the first 2 weeks and they give up after that. Now, you don't have to go hardcore. You don't have to go for only 2 weeks. Like, if you just start small with incremental things, saying, okay, I'm going to start walking for, 10 minutes every morning, or I'm going to start lifting weights just for 10 minutes, or even if you just show up at the gym, that's enough, because you're creating that mindset that I'm going to the gym. I'm going to make this habit happen. I'm going to show up today. I'm going to show up for myself, and I'm going to show up for my future. And that's what it is. You're showing up for your future self. You're showing up today for your future self, because that's what's going to make you successful in the end, when you're showing up today with your daily habits. So even with the same habits, you'll end up with the same results. But with better habits, anything is possible. So if you do the same thing every day, like let's say after work you come home and you just sit on the couch and you flop on the couch and you watch TV, and you do that every single day. Now, of course, that's something that you would have to recognize, hey, I have to stop that. I have to change that. So coming home, instead of flopping on the couch, you could just say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and put my keys to the side. Let's change. Let's go for that walk. Walk, small change. In the end, that 10-minute walk could turn into a 30-minute workout, a 30-minute run. Or you could end up saying, okay, from my 10-minute walk, now it's a 20-minute walk, but hey, let's go to the gym. But you already have that momentum created from that small habit. So that's how small habits can turn into big habits, and you can start to make big gains from that. So you do really want to start small. So even, let's say you're starting and you're on this entrepreneurial road, and you want to say, okay, well, where do I start here? Well, the first thing you could do is, how is your study habits? How is your study habits to get to where you want to be, to get to where your goals are, right? So let's say you want to end up making, you want to make 50,000, you want to make 100,000 this year. You want to make 200,000 this year. Okay, that's great. Those are great goals. But how are you going to get there? What steps are you going to take to get there? What's in your what systems are you doing? What steps are you going to take? So even with that, if you start with, okay, let's say you're starting from scratch and you don't have anything there, and you want to start with 10 minutes of study time every single day. Let's say after work, you come home, you drop in that 10 minutes of study time, but you have to be very specific. Okay, I'm going to study for 10 minutes right after I eat dinner. Right after you eat dinner, it's study time. Study for that 10 minutes of study every single day. That 10 minutes of study could turn into 30 minutes of study. That 30 minutes of study could turn into 45 minutes of study. And even small incremental changes where you're looking at, things that could help you grow, or your next step of what you need to be doing to get you on that road to your $50,000, to your $100,000. Those small steps will get you there, because that's where change happens, in the small habits of every day. Every day that you're doing something will make a big change in the end. So that's where it comes in. So these systems that you're doing, or these habits that you're doing, will turn into your daily system, or your weekly system, or your monthly system. But that will carry you, and that'll make you to become who you end up wanting to be. Those small changes, those small goals will take you there. So even bad choices can compound into toxic results. So let's say you make that 1% of change every single day, which is a positive, could also be a negative as well. So let's say you take 1%, and let's say you come home after work, and every day you go ahead and flop on the couch instead. Well, flopping on the couch could end up turning into, other bad choices, such as, okay, I'm not going to eat a healthy dinner. I'm just too lazy. I'm going to have bad dinners and stuff like that. So even if you're making bad choices, those can also compound into bad life habits as well. So we just need to stop and reflect and make sure that we're doing some internal research, and we're just making sure we know what we're doing every day, and we're not going in a negative direction, because that's where it's going to be carrying us to our future, to our end goals. And your end goals, I mean, they're big, they're great, but you have to ask yourself, how am I getting there? What is my system? Is my system in place? Is my system working? What am I doing at the moment? Is it helping me progress to where I need to be? Is it helping me to progress to where I want to be in life? Small things, small habits, small changes can compound and turn into great things in life. Great things in life. And the thing is, you do get what you repeat. So making a choice of 1% better or 1% worse in the long run can definitely make a difference of who you are or who you could be. And of course, success is the product of daily habits and a once in a lifetime transformational changes. So you definitely get what you repeat. What you repeat, you get over and over again. So true behavior change is identity change. So the progress involves, of course, we've heard this before, you have to unlearn and then you have to relearn. But that's the thing too. you have to unlearn your bad habits. You have to take those bad habits and you need to wash them away. You need to take those bad habits and you need to throw them away. You need to stop and tell yourself, do I want to carry on with these habits? Because in the long run, if you're doing these habits now and the new year is coming, you're still going to be doing them again in December of 2020. Do you still want to be doing those bad habits? Do you want to change? Do you want new things coming on? And we are coming into the new year, so this is a perfect time for us to change our habits, because it could be our resolution. Our resolution, we're not just having a goal in mind, but we're having a system. We're creating a system that will get to our goals faster. So let's say we, of course, okay, let's go back to the weight again. Now, of course, with New Year's resolutions, a lot of people are like, okay, well, let's lose 10 pounds. Like if you did not have a goal of losing 10 pounds, but you still walked every day for 10 minutes, that could turn into 15 minutes and into 20 minutes, but you had no goal of losing weight at all. Do you think you would still lose 10 pounds in the end? Do you think your health would greatly improve just because you wanted to walk or jog or just get out there and get your blood moving, get that air flowing through your body? Great changes could happen just from that. Even if you have no goal, but you have good habits, things just compound and good things happen as a result. So you don't really have to have the biggest goals, but if you have the right habits in place, great things will happen. Great things will compound right into your life. So of course, we have to unlearn our bad habits, but we have to adapt these new habits. We have to create these new habits to get us to where we want to be, get us to our goals, get us to where we want to go in life. So let's say we want to start a business, right? Where are we going to start? What do you know what your topic is? Do you know what your niche is? Do you know where you want to go? How are you going to market yourself? These things where you just start giving yourself 10 minutes, 5 minutes, of course, not 10 or 5 minutes. Like I said, an hour. I said an hour earlier, where we start with an hour and we just reverse engineer everything. That habit, of course, is going to create bigger and greater things for us. So, of course, just being in good habits will take us places. So let's see here. I took a couple of notes from earlier, and I did come across a quote from James Clear. He said, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your system." You fall to the level of your system, because if your habits are not in place to have that system to help you succeed, to help you thrive, to help you grow, it's going to be so much harder for you to reach your goals. I'm not saying you won't reach your goals, but you're going to struggle. You're going to make it hard for yourself. And that's why we're all here. We're all here to help each other. We're all here to get knowledge from each other, and habits. That's where I'm coming in to give you guys. Make sure your habits are in place. Make sure your habits are right. That way you can move forward with not just incremental, but you're hitting it every single time. And then your goals will come into fruition in the end. Okay, so ask yourself, how am I going to get there? And every time you follow your system of daily habits, you're winning. You are winning and you are successful. And that's another thing too. We have to recognize our wins. We have to recognize that every time we do our daily habits, like let's say we are starting out, let's say we hit our habits, for one whole week, we need to recognize that, like, hey, I won this week, or I won today. Because whenever we recognize our wins and we recognize what we're doing that we are making successful, we're going to start recognizing, hey, I made a win today. Like something in our heads, our light bulbs are going to go off, and we're going to recognize the good things that are happening to us. We're going to recognize the happiness that's going off. and the success that we're seeing, even if it's just 1 week, even if we just hit it for 3 days, 4 days, 1 week, and then the next thing you know it's going to be a month. And then after that, you're going to start seeing it in 3 months, and then you're going to start seeing it in 6 months. And when you hit that 6 month mark, you have to say, hey, I've had these habits for this long. I started reading a book I only started with 2 pages a day. Every day after dinner, I read 2 pages a day. And now I'm reading, a chapter a day. Now I'm reading 20 pages a day. Some people don't like to read 20 pages, and that's fine. I'm not a 20-page reader, but I do like to read. But we have to stop and we have to say, hey, I won today. I really did hit my goals. I hit all of my goals. And then from there, you're going to start seeing new things happening, or new doors opening up, more things coming to you. Things will start to come to you once you start having those good habits and those good habits in place. It's amazing too, because at one point, I would put something out into the universe, or I would ask God for certain things in life. Of course, they were just like some goals that I wanted to hit, or or I wanted this in a job, or I wanted that in a job, or I wanted to start this business one day. And after I started my little system of daily habits, different doors started opening. And then one day I was able to start my small business. And every time I won, I showed gratitude. I was winning. I felt like I was winning, and I said, God, thank you, and of course, from there, I started to see greater things. I started to see better things happening, more doors opening. But once you show that gratitude, and once you celebrate all of your wins, even the smallest win, you're going to see great things happen. And it all starts from habits. It all starts from great habits, or good habits that you've implemented and that you've taken on in the long run, in the long term. Okay, so let's see what I have here. So habits matter because they can change the belief about yourself. So yes, and that's very strong too, because it can change a belief about yourself. Let's say you don't believe in yourself, or you're kind of down, or you're not really sure if you can do something. And then a lot of people have doubts about if they can do something. But if you start, and a lot of time too, people just want to jump head on, head first. And when you do that, maybe you'll do it for like 3 days, or maybe you'll do it for a week, or maybe even 2 weeks, but you're just kind of gonna get burnt out, or then you're gonna say, oh man, I quit, and I can't do this. But you don't have to go hardcore every single time. You don't have to jump in head first. You can just go in small baby steps, incremental, and that's going to make great changes. That's going to make big changes. So habits matter because they change the belief about yourself. Now, when you start making these small changes, and you've already done it for 1 whole month, you're already going to see a change in yourself. You're going to see, and then you're going to start to believe in yourself, like, hey, I can do this. Hey, I can move on to the next step. Or, hey, this something else is happening to me that I really never knew that I could do, or not so much that I could do, but you would never see that in yourself. Or maybe a friend too. Maybe you guys can buddy up, do it together, do something together for the new year. That way you guys are starting and changing your habits, because sometimes I know a buddy system works a lot better than doing it by yourself. Maybe you can start a book club, and you guys can just read 2 pages a day, and come in and start chit-chatting from there. Or if you wanted to lose weight, have a buddy, but make that small habit, even if it's just showing up, just showing up and doing something together. Okay, so what I have here as well, people think they lack motivation, but what they really lack is clarity. So that speaks truth too, because some people lack motivation. They think
Yeah,
they lack motivation, but they really do is they lack clarity because they're not showing they're not sure where they want to go
yeah.
or where they're going. But hey, we, how are you?
Good, good, good. Wow, you just going in, man. That's amazing. Wow. So habits are very, very powerful. Habits can make or break an entrepreneur, and that's what I'm really excited about what you're teaching on tonight. Some people they feel like it's about all the strategy, all the this, all the that, but really it's about habits, right? Because habits is
Right, right.
what makes one a success or one a failure. If one have the wrong habit or have poor habits, how can one be rich when they have poor habits, right? It doesn't
Exactly.
work like that. So habits that help us to become successful. That's so exciting. But we have our next speaker ready now. But I got one or two questions. So if you have any question for Brie, please put it on the chat, maybe concerning habits or whatever it is you want to ask her. Please put those questions on the chat so that she can answer those questions. So let me ask you a question. So when it comes to habits, is there any habit that you have overcome recently that was like a big win for you that you can also share with the people today?
Okay, so a big habit that so I haven't I used to be a big person who wrote lists all the time. I wrote lists all the time, and for some reason I just stopped. I moved. So when I moved, I didn't pick up my habit of making my lists anymore. So of course I had my my weekly goals, my daily goals and whatnot, but I would tell myself, okay, yes, I can remember it. I can remember it. But at the end of the day or at the end of the week, there's a couple of things that I miss. And I said, oh no, what's going on? So I started to create a habit where I have a notebook right next to my bed. And I have a notebook in the kitchen. So if I have something come to me, I make sure I write it down. That way, at the end of the day or at the end of the week, I'm like, okay, what did I miss? Or what do I still need to accomplish? Because I don't want to miss it next time, or I need to make sure I hit this thing to make sure that my day and the rest of my week's going smoothly. Because if you miss something and you forget because you forgot something, it could just it could just kind of just ruin your system. But if I have my system in place where I have my notepad and my pen right there, I'm able to hit it every single time. And at the end of the week, yes, I can say I won because I checked off all my boxes.
Yeah, somebody said that's my problem. My lists are so big that sometimes I will accomplish much. So,
Yes.
wow. So, is there any tip you can give to her that is talking about a list so long that sometimes she's not able to accomplish them? Any tip or idea you can give to her to help her to accomplish more?
Okay, so of course you're going to have your little goals here and there. But what you want to do is what is your main goal? What is the biggest goal that you want to achieve? And from there, your big goal, your big picture, your vision, start to create habits that will get you there. Even if it's a 5-minute habit in the morning. I don't know what your goals are, but even if it's a 5-minute habit in the morning that will get you to that goal, that's where you need to start. At 5 or 10 minutes a day, give yourself and you have to put it in your mind too. You need to tell yourself, I'm going to give myself these 10 minutes to work towards my main goal. And then from there, you're going to start to see a change, and at the end it's going to start progressing, and that 10 minutes could turn into an hour, and the next thing you know, even if you're not don't want to give an hour, that's fine. Even if you give 30 minutes every single day, that's going to
Mhm.
compound. And at the end of the month, you're going to see progression. And then you can stop and you can say, okay, did I win this month? Or how far did I get? And then what is after you get to that 1 month, you can ask yourself, okay, I've achieved this small goal within my big vision. What is my next step? And then you can shift gears.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bree, for adding so much value to the summit. I do appreciate you, and I'll be talking with you offline, okay?
All right. Thanks, Uwe. See you
All
later.
right. Okay. Everybody, this has been an amazing summit. Oh my God, I'm excited about all the great things that have happened. But honestly, too, I'm also excited about it ending with just two more speakers because it's been a long 3 days. Oh my God, 12-hour days, 36 speakers in total. It's been a lot of work. Some of you are tired. I see the numbers are not as high as it used to be, but hey, go ahead and share one more time. Don't give up now. I think we got two more speakers. Yeah, 8:30. Yeah, we got two more speakers, and this whole session is over. So don't give up. This last, sometimes God will save the best for last. So don't give up now. Share these videos one more time. Come on in. We got a powerful, powerful, powerful speaker that is ready to enlarge us tonight. So I'm really, really excited to have her. So 3, 2, 1. I'm going to bring her on. Hey, hi. How are you, Andrina? Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Happens to me every single time. Every
Oh,
single
wow, wow. So good to have you on tonight.
Thank you for having me. It is my absolute pleasure. Such an amazing lineup. Thank you for including me.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, we've been going hard since Wednesday. We're having like 12 speakers a day,
Wow.
and yeah, morning, afternoon, evening, and this is the last day, the last session. So I'm excited that you're coming through to add some value, and thank you for coming on as well. We're broadcasting through multiple platforms: Facebook, YouTube, and live streaming as well. We had a
Yeah.
little technical issue. It knocked off some of our channels out, but
Okay.
primarily, if you have audience on Facebook, they can share right now. You can just go to the Vonza page and they can share it. Those on YouTube, they cannot share, but they can comment and stuff. So really, really excited to have you on. So I'll just I don't think I got a bio from you. uh
Uh-oh.
no, there was no bio, but I'll let you introduce yourself shortly.
Sure.
I don't know if I think I got a title, strategic planning for better operations. That is so amazing. So it seems like you're doing some sharing or something there. So everybody go ahead and share right now so that we can bring her up, and then it's going to be so powerful. So I want to remind you guys, this is about the last time you have the opportunity to order for the replay of all the sessions. I mean, we've learned so much over 3 days. It's not possible for you to remember everything. So for only $47, you can get all the replay, and you are going to be so glad you did. Only $47 or 36 speakers, 36 sessions. This is amazing. Okay, so we're going to bring her up now without further ado. So tell me a little bit about you and your business and what you do.
Sure. So, a bit about me. I'm a consultant. I work with nonprofits and small businesses. I'm based in the Baltimore area, but I am a fellow African, I think. I'm originally from Freetown, Sierra Leone, but my company is based in Baltimore. We actually used to have an office in Atlanta where you are, but now most of our clients are here in the DC metropolitan area. And we focus mostly on strategic planning and business development support and some capacity building services as well.
Wow, I think I just got my team sent your bio now. So Andrina Sawyer is the author. Yeah, sometimes things kind of fall through the crack, but she's the author, consultant, strategic, and non-profit founder whose background includes surviving the civil war in Sierra Leone. So let me take you back a little bit. Were you in Sierra Leone when the war happened?
I was. I came in 95. So right at the height of the war.
Okay, well, thank God. With your family, everybody's safe, right? Was safe in the civil.
Yes, by the grace of
Okay,
God.
so the civil war it wasn't across all part of the country, or just some certain regions, or was it like all part of the country that was affected?
So Sierra Leone is a very small country. Like we're small in terms of our diameter and even in terms of our population. So you can pretty much say every part of the country was hit. But where I'm from, which is Sierra Leone, and which is Freetown, we were really, really hard hit.
Wow, that was so crazy. And what was the civil war about? Sometimes I'm from Nigeria, and we've had civil war in Nigeria too. And sometimes like brothers just killing each other. It doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all. So it actually started outside of Sierra Leone in neighboring Liberia. And it was started off as tribal, became, more political. There was a coup d'etat that was attempted, but it was about resources and power, political power. You had the rebels who were, there was a political uprising basically at the time, and it just made its way, it just infiltrated its way into Sierra Leone, into the capital, and before you knew it, thousands of people had been killed and devastated.
Wow, man. I mean, sad to hear. Well,
Yeah.
thank God you survived it, and you're here to share today and help us with strategic planning. So I will be off the screen for about 25 minutes, and then after that, I'll come back and we'll do some Q&A. Okay?
Perfect. That sounds really good. Thank you again for having me.
So,
Okay, so hello everyone. I have the privilege of talking to you all today about probably the hardest part of business development. And I say it's the hardest part because it's not the most fun thing, but in my opinion, and in the opinion of several other types of consultants, if you don't have this in place, you really don't have any systems, and so you really don't have a business. What am I talking about? I'm talking about strategic planning. And Dr. Yui already said I only have 25 minutes, so I'm going to share the 4 top tips that I have for anyone that's interested in strategic planning, or for anyone that's thinking that this might be useful information, especially as the year turns over and we're going into 2022. I'm happy to answer any questions. I have included my handle, my IG and my Twitter handle in the display of my name. So if you have any follow-up questions, if you want a copy of anything that I'm going to share with you all tonight, I'm more than happy to. I think the more people that succeed, the better for all of us, the better for our communities, the better for our families, and so forth and so on. So I have 4 tips. And the first tip that I'm going to give is actually not on the slide that I'm going to share. The first tip is to challenge you to rethink and reimagine the way that you do planning for your business. What do I mean by that? So historically, for anybody that's getting into entrepreneurship, people, consultants, different entities will beat it over your head that you need a business plan. Well, in a lot of circles, the business plan has become almost outdated, not quite, or it's seen as a means to an end. Meaning that if you're going to get a bank loan, if you're bringing in an investor, if you're bringing in a partner, they will advise you to get a business plan so that you can show it to those entities who are going to be stakeholders in your business. But what happens if you have your own capital? What happens if you don't plan on scaling and you want to remain a solopreneur forever? Or you have an exit strategy that doesn't require you to bring on a lot of external forces. What I recommend to people is, in addition or instead of a business plan, if you find yourself not necessarily needing a business plan, is to make sure that you have a strategic plan. So there are 3 types that you'll hear, 3 types of plans that you'll hear about in the formation process, in the business development process. The first is that business plan, right? And again, it's not that it's become unuseful, but again, in some circles, it's almost something that's a means to an end, so much so that you have platforms now like Gus.com that will only allow you to create parts of the business plan because it's largely recognized, or increasingly becoming recognized, that the entire plan is kind of this tedious process that might not be necessary. And the other challenge with the business plan is that it paints your picture, your business, in this ideal state. So it says that if I had everything I need, all things being equal, this is what my business would look like. I would have this great retail space. I would have a staff of 200 people, except that from the time you start the business and during the implementation process, it never actually looks like that. So the business plan, let's move it to the side. The second plan that you'll hear a lot of people talk about is the goal plan. And the goal plan says, these are all the things that I have to do. This is a never-ending to-do list for my business, right? And the challenge with the goal plan is that it breaks it down and it narrows it down so much so that it's easy for people to lose the big picture vision of their business because they're busy trying to make sure that they meet kind of this granular, like micro level goals. And so a lot of times what you'll see when people kind of get immersed in that is that they're busy, but they're not necessarily productive. So what is the answer? The answer, in my opinion, is a strategic plan. I think the strategic plan builds good business. And what it does is that it takes that ideal state, right? And it says, this is the vision. This is where we're going. So we're going to use that as the foundation, and we're going to work our way backward and create goals that intentionally allow us to get to that big picture. So what the strategic plan does is it takes the two extremes of the business plan and the goal plan, and it merges them together and allows you to create systems that allow you to get from point A to point Z. So again, I'm not going to talk your head off, but I am going to share these 4 tips that I have, and I hope that they're helpful. So bear with me for 1 second, please, while I do that. Okay, awesome. So hopefully everyone can see that. If not, I'm still going to kind of just talk you through it. So don't be nervous if you can't see my screen. But again, I hope you can. I can't see the chat and the screen at the same time. The first slide, hopefully, that you're seeing is titled "Home is Where the Heart Is." And on the side there, you see a little note that says, everyone else gets the full picture. The business owner doesn't have that luxury. What does that mean? It means that when people encounter your business, right, most business owners make this mistake of viewing their entity as a whole. When people encounter your business, a customer, they don't see the spokes of the wheel. All they see is the entire wheel turning. Well, as business owners, we don't have that luxury. For a lot of us, you know, I joke all the time about how I have like permanent insomnia right now because of what entrepreneurship has done, because my mind never turns off. And so if you're an entrepreneur, you can probably relate to that. Like, we look at the spokes of the wheel. We look at all the moving parts. And what I want to challenge you all to think about is, well, what are those parts? What do those parts look like strategically? Home is where the heart is because the illustration that we use is that every entity, business, for-profit, nonprofit, is a home. Every business has 4 walls. And these 4 walls are finances, operations, capacity, and customer. And again, when other people encounter our business, they don't see these segments, they don't see these quadrants, they just see an entire operation. And for you as a business owner, if you want to do strategic planning well, you cannot afford to see the whole. You have to make sure that you're always looking at your business in parts. Why? Because even though they're interconnected, at any given time, one of these is going to demand a higher level of attention from you, and one of these is going to be a higher priority than the others. So I'll explain what these 4 are. You have finances. That's how your business makes money and how your business spends money. There should be a strategy behind that. There shouldn't just be a process where at the start of the calendar year, we say, I'm going to make $1 million this year. I'm going to make $100,000 this year. There should be a strategy on how we make money via diversification of our revenue streams. So you might have a consulting practice like me, where your consulting is one stream, your group coaching might be another, the books and the takeaways that you've written, that might be another. You might have merchandise, webinars, things that you do, that might be another stream. Those 4 streams need individual attention from you. The price point needs to be strategically developed. Who you target, what the marketing behind that looks like, should be very, very targeted. And so that finance quadrant, again, is not a haphazard thing. Your customer receives it, and when they go on your website, they see all of these options. But on the back end, as the owner, every direction that your customer goes in when making a purchasing decision has been well thought out by you. The next quadrant is the operations. And the operations quadrant says that if I were to step away from the business, how would I explain to someone else how to take my place? So from sunup to sundown, this is how we do business, right? So we have our mission, our vision, our purpose. There is a culture to every business. If your business has an accidental culture, you are in trouble, right? So you have to take ownership of what the culture looks like. And you think about Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A has become a model of good culture. Why? Because when you go and you have an exchange with one of their employees, no one says you're welcome. What do they say? They say, my pleasure. And that is a uniformed way to reinforce the culture that we're cordial, that we're polite, that you're never going to get bad customer service. So in the operations quadrant is where you begin to think about what the specifics of your internal elements look like. So we're talking mission, vision, purpose. We're talking business development. That includes marketing. That includes the way you retain clients. That includes the way you put forth your impressions, the language that you use. Then we're talking about marketing and business planning. The third quadrant is called the capacity quadrant. And this is kind of the strategic planning framework. The capacity quadrant says, what does it take for me to fulfill the operations? So again, a customer, a business partner, an investor, they come in, they encounter your business. They just know they're getting good service. But let's take Chick-fil-A. On the back end, Chick-fil-A might enforce that every Monday, employees have to go through this type of training to reinforce what culture looks like. Quarterly, their board might meet and say, this is what it looks like. We need to hire these many people. We can afford to have these additional franchise locations. So the capacity, what's within that makes it work. The people, the human resources are well thought out to reinforce what people are getting on the outside. So again, you see the bullet there. We're talking culture, we're talking leadership development, even for you if you are a solopreneur. You can't ever afford to not be in the know, because that's one of the biggest ways for potential customers to say, no, I'm going to someone else. They don't quite look like they know what they're talking about. In that capacity quadrant, we're also talking about personal and professional development, and we're talking about automation. One of the biggest reasons that businesses don't do well is not because entrepreneurs are not good at business, but because we're burnt out. We're burnt out from feeling like we have to reinvent the wheel, constantly reinvent the wheel. And it's because we have not mastered the art of automation. And we're talking automation from, again, the greetings that we do, to the social media marketing, to the way that we walk clients through the conversion process. And then lastly, that fourth quadrant there is the customer quadrant. And the customer quadrant is where you pay attention to who it is that you're talking to. Now, customer could be the people that you do transactions with. So the people that are purchasing from you. I'm going to pay you $2 for this bottle of water, and that's the extent of our interaction. Or a customer could be a potential partner. So in this case, I'm working with Vonza, and Dr. Yui and his team have been awesome to me. And that means something, because if there's ever an opportunity in the future for me to work again with Vonza, guess what? I'm readily available because of this experience. And so the way that we engage people, whether it's a one-time transaction, whether it's a retainer client, whether it's a partner, all of those people are considered customers, and a strategic plan, we need that. Again, segmentation, recognize who we're talking to. Sometimes we have the privilege of getting right to our target audience the first time. 9 times out of 10, we don't have that luxury. So we have these peripheral clients, these fringe clients that we have to talk to, and we have to convince and then get them to have this buy-in. And that's where that first bullet there, segmentation, comes in, is who is who. Is this someone that I don't have to convince because the story resonates, or I'm filling a need that they recognize they have? Is this someone that's kind of on the periphery? They might be kind of a fringe client, and I need to engage them a little bit more via social media, via newsletters, via coupons to get them. That's another segment. Is this person not a transactional, financially transactional client? Are they another type of customer that I need to talk to in a different way? Do I need to woo them? Do I need to take them to lunch? Do I need to send them a pitch deck in order to get them on board for what I'm trying to do? So segmentation becomes key. That second bullet there, we all know it as entrepreneurs, which is good customer service. We are in a time in the economic landscape where I think everyone knows that entrepreneurship is the way to go. I think COVID opened our eyes to the power dynamics in entrepreneurship and economics like never before. So it's the norm now for people to work full-time and have a side business. It's not uncommon for you to be in a room of 100 people and maybe 60 to 70 of them have a business. And so when you're in a saturated market like that, and you have a lot of competitors, you have a lot of people who are doing exactly what you're doing, one of the things that will make you stand out is that second bullet there, which is customer service. Again, that is an intentional part of the systems that you're going to create if you want to succeed. And again, automation. Home is where businesses are built. This is tip number 2. And why is that? Because even though there are 4 quadrants that I just spent some time talking about, what you want to focus on is that second quadrant, top right there, the operations quadrant. Your business is built in the operations quadrant. And if you think about an operations, like your operations quadrant, I want you to imagine having a blueprint, right? I recently did a podcast where I shared with the host, we had a good laugh about it, that I did not take a vacation in business. I've been in business, I'll be celebrating 11 years in January, and I did not take a real vacation until year 5. Now, part of that is because I am a self-proclaimed workaholic, and I probably could have taken one sooner. But a large part of that is I did not feel comfortable stepping away from my business because the systems, I was not confident that the systems were going to stand on their own. Where are systems created? Systems are created in that operations quadrant. So if you can imagine creating a blueprint, right, of all the things, right, do a brain dump of all the things that your business represents, that your business does, how you answer the phone, the colors, the aesthetic, right, of your business, the tone that you engage people with, whether it's online or offline. That is all a reflection of your operations quadrant. All of these, the other quadrants, your finance, capacity, and customer quadrant, they support the operations quadrant. But if I had to advise anyone doing strategic planning, I would say make sure that you dump most of your resource in this quadrant if you're just starting out, because that will determine the success of everything else. How well your business operates will stand out. It will be noticed by your customers. If you have great social media aesthetics and someone actually calls you for business and they don't get good service, guess what? That customer quadrant has been destroyed by poor operations. Same thing with capacity. If you talked the good game, you interviewed a bunch of interns and they came in, right? And we're talking about the capacity quadrant, and they came in and they saw that there was no team member manual, there was no orientations, your platforms are very difficult to use. Guess what? They don't want to work with you because your operations are kind of all over the place. And then lastly, finances. If your operations are not streamlined, you're probably not making a lot of business. Your operations should work in such a way where, let's say you have 5 streams of income. If you were to focus your attention on just 2 or 3 a month, the other 2 should be automated in such a way that they're still bringing in passive income. So developing this operations, again, it's not fun. This is the stuff that keeps business owners up at night, because we're writing, right? We're writing strategies. We're training people on how to implement these strategies. We're reinforcing and reiterating. There is a guru, a marketing guru that I highly recommend. And I mean, I've been subscribed to his resources since the start of my entrepreneurship career. His name is Seth Godin, Godin. And one of the things that he says is that if you're not sick of how you do business, then you're not doing business well. Meaning that you should repeat it so much that it's almost like it almost leads you to a place of boredom, because you just know how your business does work so well. So 4 streams of revenue, right? We're doing consulting as part of our operations. When we do our online marketing, this is how we engage people. This is the language. But we know that online marketing, social media, that's not where it ends. There's a funnel. So the conversion point, the website, that's uniform. That's updated at intervals that we're comfortable with. On our website, there's a conversion point, right? There's a subscription point where people can subscribe. And that's how we keep the conversation going even after they've exited out of our website. When they subscribe to our newsletter, we might offer them an incentive, like a free consultation, right, to keep this conversation going. And we work with them or walk with them through that funnel until the very end when they become a client. But our operations doesn't stop there, right? Part of our business development process says that even after a client becomes a customer, right, and their project has ended, we keep a touch point with them, because at any point that they need services again, guess what? We want to be the one that they come to for repeat business, right? So the operations, the business development process, that's just one stream of revenue, one stream of services that you offer. Now, imagine having to do that for every single stream. That's why I say it's not necessarily the fun thing, but it is the necessary thing, because once you get that and you've built a foundation on that, then you're able to move on to the more fun stuff. Tip number 3 is reframing planning. People will tell me, people will hire us because they don't want to do this. And I understand that. Unless you're somebody who's a little bit dorky like me, who enjoys like the nitty gritty stuff, then I understand why some people don't want to do it. But one of the ways that I think people can make strategic planning easier and that they can own the process better is to reframe how they look at it. So historically, we've all been taught to look at planning in a linear form, right? So what you see on the left side, whether it's kind of general goal planning, like with New Year's resolutions, or whether it's more intense, like strategic planning for your business. The linear approach is what most of us use. So we'll set the goal. I want to start a business. I want to get to $1 million. I want to get X amount of clients. I want to bring on 1,000 employees. And then we'll just work. We'll cast this wide net and we'll work until we're either tired or we accidentally hit gold, and then we figure we'll work a little bit more. And 9 times out of 10, the former happens and not the latter. So we don't hit gold, right? We just keep working until we get burnt out or we get discouraged. And that's where you have the SBA saying things like, over 50% of businesses are not even going to make it past year 5. That linear approach does not work. The strategic planning, good strategic planning, the framework that works a lot better is the circular approach. And the circular approach says that I'm going to own every step of the planning process, right? So it takes into consideration the SMART formula. And for those who are familiar, the SMART formula says that the goal, in this case, your business goals, are to be very specific. So that's for every quadrant. They're to be measurable. They are to be attainable. They're to be realistic. They're to be realistic, and they're to be timely. Now, the challenge with the SMART formula, and I'm not going to get too much into this, is that people assume that if they can meet a few of these elements, then they're on track. But it's still an inherently flawed goal if it does not meet all 5 standards: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely, at the same time. Your goal has to meet the SMART standard at the same time. Some people, so the statistics, again, I'm a little bit of a nerd, so I'll just spit out statistics randomly. But the statistics say that 92% of people are going to fail at New Year's resolutions. Now that's not to discourage anyone from setting New Year's resolutions, because you very well could be part of the 8%. I could be part of the 8%. But why is it that only 8% of people actually meet their goals? It's not because people aren't, they're not passionate. It's not because people don't have the strategies. It's not because they don't have the resources or they're not good. It's because the goal 9 times out of 10 is inherently flawed. So you have people that are trying to lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks, right? And you can try really hard. You can try the crash diets, and it's very specific. It's measurable, certainly. But is it attainable? Maybe, depending on the diet. Is it realistic for you? So that might be the only standard in that SMART formula that's missing. But because one is missing, it's enough to sabotage the entire goal. Why am I saying all of this? Because with the circular approach, at the top of the mark there, you see an assessment. And the assessment asks you questions like that. Am I positioned to start this business well? Do I have all of the resources that I need? Do I have the partnerships in place before I put it out to the world? Because if I put it out to the world, guess what? Depending on how many people are connected to you, there will be 1 or 2 that are ready to take you on. And if you make the mistake of taking those clients on and you don't follow through in your performance, guess what? You sabotage things before you can even get it off the ground, right? So the assessment does a survey and it says, am I really ready? Is this inherently a good business goal? Let's assume that it is. Then after we've taken some time, some intentional assessment, not some kind of flippant, fly-by assessment, but we've really kind of dug deep. We've done a SWOT analysis. We know everything that it takes to be positioned to succeed. Then we move on to this quarter mark, which is to actually set the goal. So you might have started off by saying, I want to start a retail business. But by the time you're done with your assessment, you're going to specify and say, I want to start a retail business that sells women clothing to women between the ages of 21 and 55 who live in the southwest area of Baltimore, who are college graduates and have disposable income because they are mid to high level earners. And that's my target. And guess what? Because of that specificity, because that goal is now inherently better, our marketing strategy can be targeted, our price point can align, and we can move forward. Am I at the 25-minute mark? That's
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going on and on and on. Last points, strategic planning is about vision casting, positioning, and making sure that your foundation is good so that the whole thing does not crumble. Make sure that you start off the right way.
Wow, thank you for sharing those knowledge and information. So let's see if anybody have some questions, because I know that was powerful and you put a lot into it already. So now let me ask you, if somebody want to reach out to you to get more information on or help, what's the best way to reach out to you?
So the best way would be on the Perk Consulting website, which is perkconsulting.net, or on social, first and last name.
Okay, what's the website again? One more time. You said it so fast.
It's Perk, PERK, consulting.net.
Okay, perkconsulting.net. That's the place to reach you. All right, what kind of businesses or entrepreneurs do you typically work with?
So we work across sectors and industry. We do work with a lot of nonprofits. So anyone that's an social enterprise or in community development, we welcome. But we have worked in tech. We've worked, again, across all industries.
All right, that is awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming on and adding so much value to this summit. Appreciate it so much and stuff. So guys, follow her, get our stuff. She's right there. That's her Instagram, Andrina_Sawyer. And also too, I think somebody else just put it on the screen and put that on the screen as well. Perkconsulting.net. We all need systems and structures for our businesses to help you to grow further out. It's just like what Vonza does, right? Simplify businesses for entrepreneurs. Instead of using multiple tools, your head all over the place, Vonza simplifies it by putting the essential tools an entrepreneur need in one place. Your website, your courses, your payment, your cloud, your forms, your scheduling, everything in one place. So that's good stuff, Angela. I'm going to be talking with you offline. I think we need to do some more stuff together, okay?
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow, guys, this is it, dog. This is amazing. This is so amazing. Make sure you catch all the replay of all the sessions. Catch all the replay, and so you can get everything that you need to start and grow your business online. All right, so this is going to be the end of the summit. I just got a message. Our last speaker was supposed to be coming on, but is not going to be able to make it. I was supposed to talk about credit and stuff, and it's too late to it's too late to get a last minute replacement. So this is going to be it. So I'm just going to be here, answer your questions for a few minutes, then we're going to wrap up the whole conference, right? So what's your question? What's your thought? What's your feedback? What's your biggest takeaway? Okay, let's have a few minutes together. Now, you want to get the replay, go to bit.ly/Vonza level up to get the replay, right? You really, really need it so you can get lifetime access to all of this content, right? But maybe you don't have a platform or software using for your online business. You need to use Vonza, right? Vonza is the #1 platform to simplify your online business, your courses, your memberships, your ebooks, everything you need in one place, so you're not running all over the place and trying to use multiple tools and tech people to run your business online. So what's your thought, guys? What's your feedback on the summit? Did you all feel like it was worth it for you? Did you get something? Did you learn something? So what's your feedback on the summit today? I know there's a little bit delay, so I'm just kind of going to stay for a few more minutes. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer your questions. Question concerning Vonza, concerning online business, concerning marketing, concerning anything whatsoever I can add value on today, I'll be happy to answer your questions for you. This has been, somebody says, it's been an exciting week. Yes, it has been. So much knowledge. I appreciate every speaker, everybody that came through and added so much content. Really appreciate you guys about it. All right, can you talk? Okay, I think there's a question here. Let me see now. Let me see. Can you talk about Vonza specifically and what it can do? All right, that's a question. Can I talk about Vonza specifically and what it can do? All right, so if you didn't know, Vonza is a all right. Can you talk? Vonza is the only one platform. What does that mean? It's a platform that helps you to start and grow your business online. So with Vonza, you can do multiple things. You can create your website, you can sell online courses, memberships, physical product, digital product. So it scheduling, pretty much it gives you 12 plus tools you need to run your entire business online, right? So that's what Vonza does. So it saves you time, it saves you money. So you're not all over the place trying to do this and do that and the other. You just use Vonza to run your business. Then also to Rondell said, thank you so much for doing this great summit. Learned a lot, and now we'll be leveling up. All right, I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me, right? All right, good. Thank you for the feedback. Pastor Uchena said it was truly incredible. Thank you, Dr. Faith Abraham, and your team for your commitment and your hard work. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We put this summit together to just add value to you guys, the entrepreneurs, and bring speakers that we felt could add tremendous value and just add things to you guys to make things better. So hope you learned one or two things. Got the replay. If you don't have a platform for your business, use Vonza for it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to wrap up the summit right now. Thank you all once again. Look forward to seeing you in the future. And make sure you sign up for Vonza and start your online business today. It is time to level up. So I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Bye, everybody.